It's incredibly important that you fall in love with who people truly are, not your fantasies of them. You see, a lot of us as human beings have pretty active imaginations, and with that, when we're dating somebody or when we're in a relationship with someone that we really like, we'll often create this idealized version of them in our minds. And that on its own isn't a problem. The problem is when we give this idealized version of them way too much importance. When we start to basically believe that that's who they really are or who they have the potential of becoming. It's very unfair to them because this version is an ideal, which means they probably can't really hope to reach it. So not only is it unfair to them if that's who you believe they can end up becoming, because they're probably going to fall short of that, but it's also a big problem when you start to believe that that's who they truly are in the here and now. You see, you have to be realistic. This idealized version of them, in some cases, can make you delusional because they're going to be pretty far from that. So as much as possible, try to judge people, your dating partners and relationship partners, on who they actually are in reality. Try not to listen to that fabrication that your mind will create of them, because it's not real. It doesn't exist in the real world out there. I mean, we've all experienced this, I'm sure, especially when we're younger and we go through those phases where we feel like our first crushes are literally the most important person in the world when they're far from it. And sometimes people don't grow out of this behavior, which is a big problem, and that's why I'm making this video. So even if you really like someone and you've created this version of them in your mind that you see yourself marrying and having children with and having a jolly grand time later further down the road, stop and start asking yourself some important questions about them. For instance, are they actually good for you? You need to ask yourself that. And now this doesn't mean, do they make me feel good? No. Them being good for you and making you feel good are two incredibly different things. They really are. Somebody can be good for you and occasionally not make you feel good because they're good for you. They're going to steer you in the right direction and maybe make it so that you don't do stupid things even though they may make you feel good in the moment, but hey, they may hurt you further down the road. Like if you go out for a night drinking with your girlfriends and end up cheating on them, or just, that's a random example, but stuff like that. Or you can have somebody who makes you feel good. Maybe they're really good in, bedroom Olympics, but they could be absolutely horrible for you. They could basically play with your emotions, play with your love for them, and not give a crap at all, and then go cheat on you and just not care about your feelings in any way, shape, or form. So even though they make you feel good, they're not good for you. So you need to ask yourself that and be honest. Are they truly good for you? Is this person going to make your life better? Are they adding to your life or are they subtracting from it? Are they going to lift you up in the future or are they going to bring you down? You do not want somebody who makes you feel good but will bring you down in the future. That's just not good. You really need to look beyond your emotions in this case, for real. Too many people make their dating decisions off of emotions alone, and that's just not good enough. You're going to steer yourself into the wrong places if you do that. So you need to be a bit logical here. But anyway, another good question. This one, I actually really love this one because a lot of people don't really think about this. Do they cause or are they the source of a lot of unnecessary extra stress and anxiety in your life? For real, ask yourself that, because sometimes we can love people who create a lot of stress and anxiety in our lives. In fact, somebody I know who's a really good friend to me right now, somebody important to him is going through this in their own life. The person that, I should probably assign some genders here so that you can follow this better, but basically, there's a woman in this guy's life, and she is with a guy who is just not great for her, and he's causing so much extra stress and anxiety in her life that she actually ended up in the hospital because of it. And I won't get into it because it's unrelated, but it's just an example to explain why this is a good question for you to explore. You need to make sure your partners are actually good for you. In the example I just mentioned, the woman loves this man. She loves him, but he causes so much stress and anxiety in her life that she's probably better off leaving him. I mean, your partner should not make you end up in the hospital over just anything about them. You shouldn't be stressing that much over their lifestyle or just anything related to them. They shouldn't be a cause of stress like that. If somebody is basically making you feel that way, where you're constantly anxious and stressed, and you realize they're the source of it, love is not enough. You need to put yourself first because your health is incredibly important, especially your mental health. And those things are very difficult to build back up after you've been with somebody who tears you down in those realms. So just don't tolerate just anyone. You need to make sure people are good for you, no matter how much you love them, no matter how they make you feel. That stuff is irrelevant. You have to ask yourself whether or not they're actually good for you. And don't pay any attention to that stupid, fabricated, idealized version of them your mind will create. Because that only exists in your imagination. It doesn't exist anywhere outside of here. Like, it is not in the real world. I'm sure there are even some of you who probably think that I'm better than I am because of me making these videos. And I'm just a human being. Like, I don't claim to be great or perfect or any of that crap. I know I still got a lot of work to do as well. So, you need to pay attention to reality when it comes to your dating and romantic partners, relationship partners, all of that, especially when it comes to deciding, or if you even want to get married, when it comes to deciding who you're going to marry. That one is incredibly important because you do not want to go through multiple divorces. That's just not good for anyone, especially if you have children. And yeah, so these are very important things. Man. Yeah. So I'll just leave you with this. Remember, as much as possible, when you really like someone, you have to ask yourself whether or not they're truly good for you, objectively good for you. Don't fall victim to your emotions because that is so easy. And when lust kicks in, all of us can think that somebody who's incredibly horrible for us would be great for us because they make us feel good, and oh my God, they make our brain explode in the bedroom. And yeah, they need to bring more to the table than those things. You have to make sure they're actually good for you. Otherwise, you can have your fun with them, but do not develop feelings for them because they're just not good for you in the long run. But anyway, I'll end the video here. If you liked it, then please feel free to like it and share your thoughts down below. That's the easiest way to support me since it helps these ridiculous algorithms that dictate whether or not my time is even worth it in doing these videos. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Arrivederci!